Hey everyone, I just wanted to make a quick video today about something that I've been noticing, something that kind of gets on my nerves, as I'm sure it does for you too. I hear a lot of people constantly talk about work and their job and their career, and it seems to be such a big topic for most people. Just think about it. Like any type of social gathering you go to where you meet new people, what's one of the first few questions that will probably come up in the conversation? What do you do for work, right? Or what do you do for a living, or something like that? And it just amazes me how some people just seem so married to their job, so married to their professions. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you shouldn't like your job, you shouldn't enjoy your job, but it's like to make your job your whole life and put it before everything else. I mean, I don't know. And then I can also see it from the standpoint of, well, you have to make your job important, right? Important, right? Because you have bills to pay. You have financial responsibilities. And once again, I'm not saying don't do a good job at work. Don't try hard, don't put your time in. I'm not saying anything like that at all. I'm simply stating that some people seem to be so overconnected to what they do for work that they miss out on some of the more important experiences in life. I often say when you're sitting on your deathbed, or sitting, I mean lying on your deathbed, who the hell ever sits on a deathbed, but, that's neither here nor there. When you're on your deathbed, what are you really going to be thinking about? Are you going to be running through, memories of time you spent with your family and your loved ones and maybe your friends and exciting things that you did and places that you went, because those are the moments you want to make count, right? Or when you're on your deathbed, are you going to be thinking about all the corporate ass you could have kissed and, how you could have attended this meeting or you could have made time for this work luncheon? Who cares? Who cares at the end of the day, right? Your corporate person is, I don't know, in the work world for what, 30, 35 years, 25 years, whatever it is, something like that. And then the time comes when you retire, and what does all that mean at that point? I guess, I don't know, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm having a little existential crisis here, but just this obsession with work and career and professions, and people are so obsessed with it, it's like a status, Like I said earlier, when you meet someone new, think about one of the first questions out of their mouth. Work is going to come up in some capacity. What do you do? Where do you work, right? You just can't avoid it. And I don't know about you, but when I'm in the, I'm not a big talker as it is. So putting me in a social situation where I'm having to talk about things I especially don't want to talk about, like work, it annoys me above and beyond. When somebody says, what do you do for work? Sure, let's all gather here on a Saturday evening where we're supposed to be enjoying ourselves, right? And what the hell are we talking about? Work. It's like, I don't understand this. I don't understand it, and I don't want to get all worked up over it. It's just, I don't know. I'm not the first guy to say this, of course, and this isn't any wise man type of advice, but it's like, you know what? Don't make that mistake of getting married to your job, getting married to your profession, because at the end of the day, it is just a profession. It doesn't define you, it doesn't define your life, and it shouldn't. And a question I often like to pose to people who maybe differ with me on that is, I say, you know what? If they stop paying you tomorrow at work, would you still go? Is your passion for this thing burning so bright and so intense that if they stop paying you, if they took away that little paycheck, that money, would you still go? Would you still go to work? Is it that important to you? Would you be married to it then if they took away the financial incentive? I doubt it. I doubt it. So, once again, the whole point of my little rant is, you know what? Maybe this just comes with a little bit of age and getting a little bit older, but it's like, you know what? Make time for what's important. Make time for what's important and build those memories, build those events with the important people in your life. And don't get all caught up in work and what you do and making that next meeting or canceling out on this or that because, hey, your boss called, and your little beeper went off and you got to do this or do that. I mean, and certain professions, of course, like if you're in the medical field or something of that nature, of course, that's going to be a little bit different in that case. I guess when I was thinking about this topic earlier, I mainly had in mind, corporate jobs, office jobs. Nothing that has to do with medical emergencies or safety or anything like that. I'm just thinking, you know what? Make time for what's important, because at the end of the day, when you look at your whole life and all these events and things you've experienced, work should not be anywhere near the top of that priority list. It shouldn't. It just shouldn't. Because, I think as a society, as human beings, we're overstimulated as it is. We already have too much to keep track of. And throwing work in there where, even when we go home, we're forced to think about work. And you have some jobs where they're like, well, hey, okay, you're on call, right? We might need you after hours, so make sure you keep your work phone on, or even when you're on vacation or something, right? I've known people who've gone on vacation before and have taken a work laptop with them or a work phone, and they spend a good amount of time on the damn thing. And I guess I'm wondering, well, what kind of vacation is this? What kind of getaway is this? Like, why didn't you just stay at work? Once again, you're married to it. Why didn't you just stay there? But, I'm not saying I have all the right answers, and I certainly don't. I just think there is an unhealthy obsession today with work and professions and what people do. And I think people, by and large, just need to get a grip and focus on what's really important, because your life is not your job. Never has been and never will be. Thank you for listening. Everybody have a good night. I'll see you next time.